So, first off, I wanted to sort of introduce you, and what it is that you do now, your career change. What has brought you to the point of like coming into the dog industry, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Is that the question?
That's the question, yeah.
So yeah, at the minute I work in police custody for the NHS as a practitioner. So I go and see people in custody that are vulnerable for whatever reason, be it drugs, alcohol, mental health, things like that, and then try and get them support into the community. And I do enjoy it, but it's very tough at times, mentally tough at times. I've been sort of looking for a way kind of into like the dog world, as you know, for a few years now. I started boarding dogs at my home a couple of years ago, and since then I've kind of been looking for a way to make that kind of my job instead of what I do now. Feel like I've kind of had enough of the NHS and the work that I do at the minute. So yeah.
It is. We have talked about this quite a lot anyway, but like it is, you kind of get to that stage in life where you're working long hours. You don't really get much appreciation. And what's the word? I suppose you just tire of it. You start thinking about, do I want to be doing this for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
Is this the career path that I want to continue, or do I want to do something completely different and challenge myself? And I mean, we're both quite similar in that we both got to that point in our jobs where we were like, you know what, I don't want to do this forever. This is not my thing. And certainly when I started dog walking, it wasn't I didn't really know much about dog walking at the time. I certainly never thought of it as a career.
Yeah.
So my next question, I suppose, is why did you choose a franchise rather than sort of going and setting up on your own? Because again, a lot of questions I'd get from people would be like, well, why should I do a franchise? Why shouldn't I just set up my own dog walking business? What was it for you, I suppose, of like you went down the franchise route?
Yeah, I mean that was probably my question at first, because I just thought like dog walking business, just set that up yourself and just do like I think that was something I'd asked. But I think obviously after spending time with you and the dogs and the job and realising quite how much goes into it, it was like, oh, this isn't quite as straightforward as you think. Like it's not just get a van, pick loads of dogs up and take them out. Like there was more to it than that. So I suppose for me it was the kind of I think partly like security,
Mm-hmm.
kind of knowing that there's someone already there who knows what they're doing, has like been in the business, kind of knows all the pitfalls and how to avoid them. I think just the added support as well of that, of not kind of doing it on your own, because it is scary. Like if you've worked in employment all your life and then you go into like being self-employed and starting a business, it is scary to think you don't really know what you're doing, or you think you do, but then you see all the stuff behind the scenes. You're like, oh, actually, no, I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
So I think it was probably the security and kind of like I suppose the convenience, kind of like you said, of kind of leapfrogging a bit rather than starting at the bottom and having nothing and trying to build it up. You kind of start a little bit up already and then build it from there. So I think I think that was the main thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realise, but obviously there is a lot more in it, but you don't know what you don't know.
No.
So until you get to start doing it and realise how much a bigger deal it is, to do it properly, to do it safely, it's valuable to have that help. And like you say, you kind of leapfrogging to sort of year 2 really, because you've got dogs ready to start when you start. So you're already earning. You don't have to go out and find them. The reputation of the business is what's going to keep giving you dogs as well. So there's a lot of pluses there's a lot of bonuses to franchising, and like you say, it's that support and that ongoing training and support throughout to get you started.
Yeah, so. I think it's probably the reassurance as well. Like, obviously, I've worked in kind of, I suppose, like the NHS and stuff is a big business, so you've always got someone else to like go to when stuff happens. If you need to, like, there's always someone above you. And I suppose one of the scary things about being self-employed and starting a business is you don't, like, you are the top. So I think with this, and I think having done some of the work now as well, and realising actually it's quite scary at the start, like you've got these dogs that you've got to keep safe, and it's kind of scary thinking, what happens if you just legs it, or that one like hurts itself. And I think if you're on your own and something like that happens, it's really quite daunting, whereas I think knowing that I could just ring you and be like,
come and help me.
Yeah, like something's happened, can you come and help me?
Come and find that dog.
And I think having that when is like really reassuring as well, knowing that you're not just like you're not just out there on your own in the wilderness, like with all these dogs, thinking like if something goes wrong, I've got no one to call, nowhere to go, I don't know what I'm doing. So that's like a big thing as well. I think like knowing that I can like, give you a ring and be like, come here, I'm in trouble, like something's gone really wrong.
And things do go wrong, you know. We've spoke about this, different instances and situations where things have gone awry. You know, dogs have run off and gone missing, or I think I told you about my friend's dog who, you know, she was out walking her dog and it just collapsed. And what would you do if you had, you know, 5 other dogs with you and that happened and you've got to carry a huge dog, you know, like... people don't really think when they set up a dog walking business, well, you know, things might go wrong and I have to deal with that, you know, and how would I deal with it? So yeah, it's really good to have someone on board.
Yeah, definitely.
So what were your concerns about the franchise? When you first were thinking of signing the contract?
I suppose like a big one just was the contract. Like, you know, just 5 years seems like a long time. So I think signing anything...
It's not really, you know.
No, I'm sure.
5 years will fly by.
Yeah, but I suppose it is just, in every other job I've had, you can just leave whenever you want. And I know there's obviously sort of exit strategies you want, but I think just the commitment is difficult, and some people might find that harder than others. If they've got commitment issues, I suppose. But I think just the actual contract itself and sort of signing into that is quite a scary thing to do, because it's like a big deal. Obviously, the financial aspect of it felt a lot, and I think I was like working out exactly what you're getting for that, which is, you know, reasonable, I suppose, for anyone that's paying that. They're going to think, what am I getting? So I think that was probably a concern. And I suppose another one, as opposed to doing it on my own, was like control over the business. Because part of the, part of the draw of like being self-employed is that you get to be your own boss and not have someone else telling you what to do, and, you know, you can kind of run it as you want. So I think part of my concerns was probably what level of agency I'd get over that, as opposed to doing it on my own. Because you don't kind of want to go from like one management structure into another if you're trying to get out of that, or sort of be your own boss. So I suppose that was a concern initially.
If you can't think of any more, it's fine.
Just got like 10 more, I'll realise. No.
I have this concern, this concern.
Yeah, most of which have still not been sorted out.
Well, you haven't started yet, so you know, it's...
Yeah, there wasn't loads of individual little concerns. It was, I suppose, the bigger picture stuff. Like, you know, it is just feels like a big step, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
So I suppose it's just...
And if you're not used to that, and like, because you've been in your current job for about 10 years, you haven't made a switch. It'd be different for someone who maybe has had different jobs throughout 10 years, and they've been trying different career paths and that.
Yeah.
They might not feel it's quite so much of a sort of change for them. But for you, you know, you've sort of been working towards where you are now, and then it is a complete change of what you're doing. So it hits you a bit more, and it you know, it's more difficult, I suppose, to get your mind into it.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah. So what was the main reason you went for it? What was the main thing that made you sign?
Probably my partner, to be honest. She was really supportive and encouraging with it. I think she could see, or can see, how sort of unhappy I am at work and kind of with my current circumstances. And she was like, "This is what you want to do. This is what you've been talking about for ages. So, like, just do it." Like, I think, you know, for her there was no question. It was just, why would you not? But I think it was sort of the same sort of thing. I think I was just evaluating kind of my current job and life and looking at it and thinking, is this really what I want to do? And the answer was no. And I knew the answer was no. So it's like, what else are you waiting for? Like, are you going to turn this down and just sort of wait for something else to come along? Or like, why not? If, you know, you're not happy, you don't want to be there, you don't want to do this for the rest of your life, there's an opportunity here to change that. So what are you waiting for, I think. So yeah, just went for that.
How are you feeling about the franchise now? I mean, obviously you haven't started yet, you know, but we've been doing different things, you know, with bits of training, and you know, you've been going out with dogs. How are you feeling about things now? Are you feeling like it's still like, oh, quite scary and risk taking, and what have I done? Or are you sort of gradually coming around to the idea of like, this is what you're going to be doing?
I think it's still sinking in a bit, and I think some days it sinks in more than others, and I'm like, whoa, like this is going to be like when I'm out with the dogs and stuff. I think this is going to be my life now. And then I'm like, how do I feel about that? But I'm feeling good about it. I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm looking forward to the sort of challenges and the agency. Obviously, spending more times with the dogs, hopefully developing my career in that direction, so that I can kind of progress with that and do more with that. So it feels like a great kind of opportunity, and I'm excited for it, but I'm still probably a bit scared. Yeah.
Well, that's normal, you know. You're only human.
Yeah, I think once I'm going and I'm in it,
yeah,
then that'll be great. But I think it still is scary, isn't it? Because I'm still not all the way there yet. Like, I'm still in the process of it, and you don't quite know what your day to day is going to look like and how things are going to go. So the winter's coming, so that's scary. But I'm definitely looking more forward to it than not. I'm excited for it, but I'm still nervous, I would say. Yeah.
Well, we'll see on the next video how you're feeling after your first week. We'll do one after your first week and see how you feel, because obviously you're still working full time at the minute, so your mindset is on that. But when you've actually done a full week and you're like, oh, we'll see if that's helped any. Thanks for joining us, and if you have any questions, just feel free to message away or go on the website for more information. Bye for now.